Hello, welcome back to another video. This one is obviously a little bit different from all of my other planner videos, but I was feeling very artistic this week and I thought I would show you guys a little sneak peek of my sketchbook slash art journal. You might have noticed that I actually uploaded two versions of this video this week. The longer one is like a real-time, no music, no talking, sort of relaxing sounds video. And then this one is just going to be a little bit sped up and me rambling about what I'm doing and random stuff. So yeah. This first sketch that I'm making is of this glorious avocado toast I had with one of my friends. I know it's like a running joke that young people spend way too much money on avocado toast, and I am proudly guilty of that. But this one, I think it was honestly the best avocado toast I've ever had. So yeah, that's why I had a million photos of it and I wanted to sketch it out. And to do the actual pencil sketch, I used the Prismacolor Col-Erase pencil in this like deep violet color. And I really like using colored pencils to do my sketches because I feel like it adds some interest and depth to the painting versus using just like graphite or some like mechanical pencil. And I especially like the Prismacolor Col-Erase pencils because, as the name suggests, it is erasable, but it's also not like a super clean erase, if that makes any sense. So even though you can erase it, there is a little bit of residue. So I like that it's kind of a commitment to use, but also like if you do make a mistake, you can still erase most of it. So it's not like as permanent as, of course, using a ballpoint pen or a gel pen to sketch. So I just really roughly mapped out all of the shapes, and then I went in with my watercolors, and here I'm using the Winsor Newton watercolors as well as the Daniel Smith watercolors, and they're all mixed in my palette, so I have no idea which is which. In fact, I don't even know which colors I have here. I just have some sort of rainbow and I went along with it. And my technique is, I would say I start off with like a wet on wet technique where I just do like a very light wash of color. I might drop in some other shades, and then after letting it dry, I go back in with darker tones and other colors to add details and depth. Something that I'm trying to work on is to not spend as much time on my paintings and try to suggest details rather than meticulously paint every single detail. So like instead of, for example, painting every single leaf that was on this avocado toast, I tried to just paint a few general strokes to suggest that it was like a pile of leaves, if that makes any sense. It is really hard for me to do because I just love adding detail so much, but consequently I tend to overwork paintings and I spend way too long on just like a small piece. So yeah, that is something that I'm trying to work on. Anyways, after the watercolor dried, I went back in with the violet colored pencil to refine the lines a little bit more, add in some shading and all of that. It takes a lot of time to render depth with watercolors. You just have to build up the layers over and over again. And again, because I didn't want to spend too much time on this, I decided to just do some easy washes and then I'll go back in with my colored pencil. And I think by doing all of the shading with a single colored pencil, in this case this violet, it kind of ties all of the colors together of this avocado toast and it makes it look very cohesive. And here I'm just using the white Jelly Roll gel pen to add a few highlights. Another technique would be to use masking fluid with watercolors, but you do kind of have to plan ahead where you want the highlights to be, and I just didn't own any masking fluid, so that is why. And then to letter in June 16th, I used the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen in the hard tip, and I kind of just did this like wonky bubble lettering font that I'm currently really into. And for the actual writing portion, I'm using the Energel Clena 0.4mm gel pen in black, of course. And that was my first sketch. For this second sketch, I already started with the line work, and I'm once again using the Col-Erase colored pencils, but this time in like a red color. Why did I choose red? I don't know. I just go with whatever. And for this one, I wanted to experiment a little bit with Copic markers. I haven't really used Copic markers in a very long time, so this was a little bit daunting to me. And something funny is that the Copic marker kind of smudged the colored pencil, and so when I was painting over the eyes, it smudged the eyes, and it looks like I was like bleeding from my eyes. But I kind of covered it up with these like little blush cheeks. Anyways, many years ago, when I was still in elementary school, I begged my mom to get me Copic Ciao markers for my birthday one year, and we weren't doing financially very well at the time, but somehow, like the most amazing mom she is, she got me a set of these Copic Ciao markers. Now, unfortunately, I used them a lot for maybe a few weeks, and ever since then, I haven't really actively been using them. And it is one of my goals to revisit using alcohol markers again, like the Copics. Anyways, for this, I didn't want to do anything too crazy or realistic, so I kind of went with the approach of just laying down a flat layer of color, and I did a little bit of shading with other Copic markers, but also you can use this single, like the same Copic marker, and just like layer it on top of itself to create depth, and that's kind of what I did for my top. And the reason why I was sketching this kind of drawing of myself, but like honestly it could be anyone, is because I got a new running fanny pack, which I was really excited about. This one holds 2 mini water bottles, and so I'm hoping this means that I can embark on pushing a little bit further with my runs. I tend to cap my runs outside at about an hour, especially during the summer, because I don't want to end up getting dehydrated or something and stranded. So yeah, I'm very pumped to have this new running bag and stay hydrated throughout my runs. So with alcohol markers like Copics, you can't use them on every type of paper because it heavily bleeds through. And I did test the markers before I started on this paper, and there was like no bleeding and no ghosting. However, I failed to test doing multiple layers, especially with dark colors. So although there was no like solid bleed through, there was a little bit of ghosting, especially with like the black and the dark browns where I kind of layered over one another. Alright, and then for this third piece, my goal was to get acquainted with this giant mop brush that I got several months ago, and I've been meaning to use, but I just didn't really have the time. So this is a mop brush, so you can see that it is very chunky, but it tapers to a very fine point, so you can get a great variation of strokes and details and all of that. So here I'm actually painting a photo I took of the distillery district back in Toronto, and the technique for this piece is slightly different from the first avocado toast piece that I did. I kind of wanted to just do very broad strokes and washes of the colors, and then later go back in with a fine liner to do all of the line work, kind of like urban sketching, but obviously like I'm not in Toronto to do anything on site. Now, I was having a lot of trouble with this one. I was starting to get very discouraged because you can see that it looked like a giant mess. However, after I started using my Micron pens to do all of the line work, it started coming together. And unfortunately, I accidentally forgot to hit record when I started the fine lining part. So there is a big jump. And I do regret that, because it was honestly the most rewarding and relieving feeling seeing this like giant blobby mess get turned into something that I'm somewhat proud of. So yeah, I do apologize, and I guess I will take this chance to say, if you like these kind of sketchbook videos, definitely let me know, and I will try to do more, and I will try to remember to hit record. But yeah, anyways, I was alternating between 2 different fine liners. They're both from Micron, but one is like a 0.8 0.8mm and one is a fine 0.2mm. Now, why did I choose these two sizes? It's honestly just because they were the two fine liners that I had on hand. I did have a 0.5 as well, but it was running out of ink, so I just didn't use them. Can you hear my neighbors? They're very loud. So yeah, anyways, that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me sketch, and I will be back next week with a proper planner video. And good on my neighbors for having a wonderful day. And I hope you have a wonderful day as well. Bye!